Hi everyone. So if you're done with your undergraduate and wanted to go for direct PhD, or if you have completed your masters and wanted to pursue PhD from high-end universities in India like IITs, IIMs, ISCs, etc., then definitely the points that we are going to cover in this video will help you in the admission process. So friends, to get it into the state universities or some private universities is little bit simple, or we can say the chances of getting PhD admission in these types of universities are a little bit more if you compare this with the high-end university that we are talking about. So if you are preparing for these high-end universities, then definitely it will become very simple for you to get the PhD admissions in the state universities or private universities. Prior to moving towards the important points in PhD admissions in these universities, I would like to convey you one important reality. So whatever these universities represent, this is totally different than what these universities expect. When this universities releases PhD admission notification, the eligibility criteria will be listed in that notification. That is basic eligibility criteria, means we should have 60% or first class in bachelor's, masters, or we should have an additional qualification like net set qualification, gate qualification, etc. And when we fulfill that basic requirement, we go on applying for that particular university, and even we start preparing for the PhD selection process. But a month later or 2 months later, we get to know that we are not shortlisted. I mean, that basic criteria mentioned by that particular university is a minimum eligibility criteria. However, the shortlisting criteria is very high if you compare it with the minimum eligibility criteria. So we basically refer the minimum eligibility criteria and we go on preparing for that particular examination or written test. And we know that the syllabus of written test of different universities of PhD selection process will be little bit different. So if you are preparing for that particular university for 1 month or 2 months, that might you will be wasting your time. So for that you have to, instead of referring only minimum eligibility criteria, you have to refer the shortlisting criteria. Then probably you will be tracking the exact university, you will be applying to the exact university so that you can save your PhD admission application fees also. Here we will consider one example of IIT Delhi. We know that QS World Ranking is quite good for this institute. So this is the, according to the recent PhD admission notification, this is the minimum eligibility criteria which is mentioned on IIT Delhi academics or IIT Delhi website. So you can see this. If you have done MTech, ME, MD or equivalent, you should have only 60% marks or 6.75 CGPA. If you have done MSc, MBA, MA, MBS, then also you should have 60% mark. BE, BTech, if you wanted to go for direct PhD, then you should have 70% marks or 7.5 CGPA. But there is an additional criteria that you should have qualified GATE examination. In this case also you should have qualified GATE examination, but the GATE score required is less if you have done your MSc, MBA, MA, MBBS or equivalent. So this is the minimum eligibility criteria, and that will be waived off to a certain extent if you belongs to SC, ST category. So now on the same website, this shortlisting criteria is also mentioned, and that exactly you have to go through. So this is actually a little bit shocking because see, for BE, BTech, the shortlisting criteria is 80% or 8 point CGPA. MSc, MBA or equivalent 80%. If you have done MA, then you should have 70%. MTech, ME, then you should have secured 80%. So you have to see this shortlisting criteria, and if you are fulfilling this criteria, or if you are having your percentile or percentage marks, those are more than this mentioned here, and then only you have to apply for this particular institute. So accordingly you have to see the individual IITs, individual IIM. So in IIM, this is the IIM Ahmedabad. Here also you will find on their website they have clearly mentioned about the PhD admission process. So basically in this IIM, this PhD program or PhD can be called as FPM, means Fellow Program in Management. But many students go for FPM program at these IIMs. This is because after completion of your FPM programs, means Fellow Programs in Management, you will be getting attractive salary packages. In some cases, you will not be getting these shortlisting criteria. Few IITs or few IIMs have not mentioned these shortlisting criteria on their websites. In that case, you may talk to your seniors, colleagues, those are know about this particular university. If still you are not getting this idea about this shortlisting criteria, then you can directly apply to these universities. Now we'll turn toward the important points, those we should know before application to these universities, and important documents we should have to get positive consideration in PhD application process. So the first important document that you should have is statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is 1 or 2 pages document, but still it depends on that particular university requirements. But basically, or in general, statement of purpose we can call it as SOP. It is of 1 to 2 pages. So basically in this statement of purpose, we used to write about our personality, aims and achievement, workshops, publications, trainings done, and it helps admission committee to decide the suitability of the applicant for that particular program. The second important document is research proposal. See, research proposal is actually a plan of research, and you will be able to write the research proposal only if you have decided your working area or research area. For that, you can consider your bachelor's project, your master project, if the innovativeness is there in this both the projects, or rather you can study area of your interest and you can prepare a research proposal. You can read the research articles, and based on that also you will be able to prepare your research proposal. On both these points means how to write a best statement of purpose and how to write a good research proposal. I'll be having a separate videos probably in the next week, so that you will be getting an exact idea that what points you should consider and what format you should consider while writing this SOP and research proposal. Third and most important point, publications. Your research publications, your book publications, your book chapter publications, those will definitely plays a very important role in your PhD admission process in these universities. So you should have published at least one review article or research article in high-end journals or quality index journals. So definitely you will be asked few questions based on these research articles or research publications, and this will turn your interview towards selection. If you know, the maximum questions in PhD interviews will be asked based on your bachelor's project or the projects you have done in your bachelor's or master's, so that this will help the admission committee to make your suitability towards the new project that you will undertake. And the next point is analysis of research guides and their areas of interest. This is the most important point and plays a very important role as far as PhD admission is concerned. So even if with very high grades, achievements, trainings, etc., if you are not doing this analysis thoroughly, then there are possibilities or chances that you will not be getting a PhD admission. So obviously there are a lot more to talk about this point, and this is the point which will help you to select or help you to choose the best university according to your qualifications. And if you are doing so, then there are maximum probability or maximum chances for the particular university you are applying for the PhD admissions, you will be getting selected. So there are basically two sub parts as far as this point is concerned. So first you have to think about the project that you have done previously, maybe your bachelor project, maybe your master project, and you have to think the innovativeness, whether there is a innovativeness in those projects, so whether those projects can be extended for your PhD work. So if you feel yes, you can extend those projects or those area for your PhD work, and then this is a positive sign, or this will add an advantage to your PhD selection process. So obviously if you are extending your master project, you are extending your bachelor project, then the admission selection committee will think that at least you have an idea about the research area, and the chances will increase to getting accepted your application for the PhD program, and then your work will start. Now you have to go through different universities, or rather the research guides areas of interest. You have to analyze those areas, whether those areas are related to your area, or whether those areas are in allied branches or aligned streams of your area. Then only you have to choose that particular university and you have to apply to that particular university. But you have to see whether these guides will be having the vacancies under them for this particular semester, and this will be displayed on this particular university's websites. Then which are the areas of interest, and you have to see the profiles of these respective guides, and then only you have to go for applying this university. And there are probably more chances that research guides are working in your related areas, and definitely they will give you a preference and they will accept your application for PhD program. And there is a second condition, that if you feel your bachelor's or master project have no any innovativeness and those projects cannot be extended for PhD work, in that case you have to little bit go through the literature survey. You have to first finalize your research topic. So you have to think of the research areas, you can talk to your colleagues, you can talk to your seniors, and you can decide your area of working or research area, and you have to read the research articles from this particular research area, and you have to prepare a research proposal. And the second thing, better way, if you could write a literature review article. Even if you have only written the literature review article, then this also will help in the PhD selection process. If you have published in, then this is really better, that this will add an advantage. So in that case, you have to little bit study. It may take 6 months or year to go through the literature review process, and then only this will help you in the PhD selection process. Otherwise, it becomes really tough or difficult if you haven't done thoroughly your bachelor's or master project. Then you will not be able to answer the questions based on your these types of projects and all, projects and trainings. So in these types of university, your research guides need not to be previously fixed, but your research areas should be allied with the research areas of those particular research guides. Those are having vacancy for that particular semester. If you found in particular university the research guide is working in the same area where you have worked for your masters, then definitely you can approach those research guides and you can write an email to those research guides, and you can represent yourself, your biodata. And if that guide shows an interest in your profile, then definitely this will help you in the interview process. But you have to go through positively the written test and positively the presentation. Sometimes few IITs, few IIMs having written test is almost compulsory to all these universities. However, the second step is you have to either go through the presentation on that particular topic, or either you have to go through the interview. And we know that, and I already talked about that, basically the interviews are conducted based on your research projects you have done previously. And the second thing, if you are a working professional, then might be if you are a teacher, if you have taught some subjects, then based on that also the questions will be asked. So if you want a detailed PhD selection process of this university, then please write me a comment in the comment box. I will try to prepare a dedicated video based on that only, so that you will get more insights into it. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you like this information and video. If you do have any questions or queries, please write me in the comment box. I will try to answer all these queries. And do not forget to subscribe this channel and press the bell icon to get latest research updates. So we'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.